that we talk about. The message here that I want you to see is the overall theme of these questions and how they're answered. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into it. So these servers came courtesy of a New Year's tour that Yoshida did. He visited several different servers and basically held Q&As with the people there. Okay. This is heavily edited because there was so much bullshit.
Chat spam and stuff.
No, like on Reddit, thank you, Reddit, they actually compiled and translated, because I think they were all Japanese servers, but they had compiled the translations, so we have the questions, we have the answers, except for Ramuh. For some reason, Ramuh, they just gave us the answers. There are no questions, so we get to play a little bit of detective there and figure out what they were trying to ask, maybe.
Jesus. Playing Jeopardy.
But no, there was a lot of really shitty questions. Like we know that happens. We've done tons of Q&As.
Yeah.
We know people ask dumb questions.
Right.
Man, there are some dumb questions. So now some of them I left in for comedic effect, right? But still, these were heavily edited. So we're gonna start with the Mazemune server, and this first one I think is one of the ones that most people have been talking about in general, right? It was right at the very top. The question isn't really a question; it's a statement. It's sad how equipment becomes garbage so quickly.
Yeah.
To which Yoshida says, with an item-based level game, it can't be helped. Please enjoy your gear with the glamour system.
Oh my God. This is everything that we have basically been complaining about.
Squashed down into one nice little bite-sized question.
Fucking glamour it is the answer. Like, that's not a good answer.
If you want your gear to matter longer, glamour.
Glamour it. Really. That's your fucking answer, is glamour.
Glamour.
How are we supposed to fucking glamour our gear when the gear looks like shit?
It's not even that. It's not even that. Like, I fine. Glamour, whatever, but like the complaint is that the gear gets thrown out. I mean, I've been glamoring gear into the same set for the better part of a year and a half.
The glamour has never changed.
The glamour has nothing to do with it. What they're complaining about is that within a patch, everything that I just worked towards gets thrown out.
Not if you glamour it.
Then I have to. No, you do. You do. Glamour has nothing to do with this.
But Nero, have you thought about glamoring it?
But glamour has nothing to do with
he talks about glamour, though.
Oh, we're getting the glamour commode.
Glamour it up. Just glamour over it.
Glamour is solved.
You can't glamour over the problem.
Because
the problem is that nobody gives a shit about the gear. Because again, what's the problem with the raid scene? Well, why do I need the gear to continue doing raiding? Well, but that's the only thing that gear can be applied for. And then, oh, hey, by the way, we throw all of that shit out the window in the next patch anyway. So why don't I just, not log on 4 nights a week and just get my tome gear and call it fucking good? And that's what 90% of the people who play this game do. And I'll tell you what, that's not a reason to say stay subscribed to a fucking game. But again, if Square Enix wants to take this motherfucker free to play, or if that's the end goal anyway, why bother? You don't even have to bother making content. You don't have to bother trying to make anything good. You can actually, it'll do more for your bottom line to produce shit than it will to produce actual good content. Because guess what? Morons like you will go and buy a second fucking minion that'll sit in your goddamn character inbox.
Yeah.
This is all your fault, Paolo.
All my fault. I single-handedly did it with my one purchase.
But this is exactly what people were saying the cash shop was going to do when they were first talking about adding the cash shop.
That slippery slope, guys, we fell down it already. It's over with. We're at the bottom.
Well, and the thing is that people were like, oh, well, he said no pay to win, so as soon as there's, gear with stats, then we'll riot. But no, but look at the state that this game is in, and look at the incentives that Square Enix has to continue to develop it properly. They actually make less money charging every month, charging a fucking subscription fee than they would if they just took it free to play and nickel and dimed you at every corner, because people are more willing to go for the nickel and diming.
Because, well, yeah, because at that point, oh, well, I'm not paying anything for the monthly fee, so why not buy something
And
this
you don't.
month?
And guess what? You don't have to work that hard. Guess what?
And you have more people playing because it's free to play.
Right? There you go. There you go. Everyone wins. Air quotes.
Speaking of making things easier, can you let us get achievements more easily for content that people don't do anymore?
Go fucking jump off a bridge.
We will be making adjustments to front lines to improve the queue times in the future. We still haven't decided on diadem, but maybe we'll allow players to get the achievements via a different method. They're not sure, and as we will learn later, another question, because apparently diadem isn't necessarily done yet.
Well, but wait a minute. I can't get the 1.0 achievements, and there's people who can get 1.0 achievements and titles. I want to be able to get those too. Man, fuck you with your complaining bullshit.
This is one of the good questions here. Please make more 8-man dungeons. To which he says, it won't be an 8-man dungeon, but we are planning difficult 4-man content instead. So just straight up, no 8-man stuff, but we'll make hard 4-man stuff.
Actually, hard 4-man stuff is probably pretty welcome at this point.
Well, we'll see what hard 4-man content actually ends up being, and more importantly,
maybe not
why we should do it.
Well, like, maybe not necessarily like hard as in the sense that it's like overly punishing like the extreme stuff, because that stuff gets monotonous. But
That's
like,
what it's
what
gonna
about
be to them.
dynamic? What about dynamic? What about just shit that's interesting?
Yeah,
Like
well,
Deep
we'll see.
Dungeon?
Any news on selling the Kryl outfit? Since we need to make it fit every race, please wait a little longer. So this person would like the Kryl outfit to go to the cash shop, which that's where all the other Cyans are. So you know that's where it's going to be. There's one cash shop mention. No plans on new climbing games for a while? We would like to make climbing games into something interesting. First, all right.
What?
On its face, the idea of making jumping puzzles into something more interesting than just jumping, that's cool. That's a great sentiment, okay? But could you point me to something else in the game that is interesting? Like do you trust this dev team to make something interesting?
I mean, how do you make climbing puzzles interesting? Like, the whole point of like the climbing puzzle is to do it, not like I don't even know where they're gonna go with this. Like, how are you gonna make climbing interesting? It's like swimming. How are you gonna make swimming interesting?
They didn't, by the way.
That was a fucking marquee of your stupid expansion.
The only way to make it interesting is to take flying away.
Yeah, yup, pretty much.
The minute you have flying, the rest of it's pointless.
Yeah. I want 8-man content we can farm casually as a... What? I want 8-man content we can farm casually as a group. What game are you playing? Like that's this game.
Yeah, that's
You already have 8-man content. It's called
Rabbit
Omega.
Nasty.
He says...
It's called Omega. You can farm that.
Oh, well, that too.
He says, I have received your request.
What the fuck?
Oh,
That's basically K.
Yeah. You know that party in front of Sastasha hard mode that is like another version of Edda and her party? Is that story going anywhere? Edda's popularity exploding was unexpected, so we turned it into its own story. If something similar happens with different characters, we might do something. That's cool. I like that. I like the idea that the Edda stuff, you know, was born out of, I guess, fan desire.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I mean,
so was the return of Hildebrand, and look how that turned out.
Fair. Fair. Can you raise the limit on the number of retainers we can have? We have plans to add more. Technically not in the cash shop, but does pertain to them getting more money. Should I add that to the count?
Yes.
All right, adding that to the count. That's 2.
You totally pay. You get more retainers by giving them more. Yeah, totally counts.
Can you make the daily roulette into tickets so we can save them up? His answer, which I thought this was kind of a cool idea, because I would be more willing to cap by doing like all my roulettes on Reset Tuesday or something, right? Yeah. Allowing players to stack daily tickets is actually a pretty troublesome topic, because some players will think, I have too many saved up and I can't be bothered doing them anymore. But if we don't leave dailies as dailies, humans are designed to not do them anymore.
What's the problem with the way the Lev quests build up to 99?
Is that not the same thing?
It is. That's the exact same.
Well, but there's no reason to do Lev quests.
Well, see, people don't do Lev quests because clearly the reason is why they're so stacked up, and not because there's literally no reason to do them. That's why people don't do Lev quests, because they stack up. If we do that to the daily system, then people won't do dailies anymore, and then you'll have 60-minute queue times for DPS.
So if we were to make it so you could do one Lev quest a day, you think people would go back to doing them?
Of course. Well, then it'd be a daily. Of course people would do it then.
Yeah, given the logic that Square Enix has laid out, sure.
Question. Please add a ton of housing plots. We will be adding quite a lot of housing plots, so please wait. Spoilers, you're still not going to get your housing plot.
Guess what?
Someone else is going to buy it up and want to gouge you for it.
Whoever asked that question, the fact that you used 3 pleases in there proves to me that you wouldn't be able to afford a housing plot even if one was open. So get fucked, you poor motherfucker.
This next one's for Nero. I want to wear kimono. Any plans on adding kimonos that those NPCs in Kugane are wearing? We will gradually add Japanese-themed equipment.
Yeah, gradually.
Where do you guys think those are going to go?
I thought we had an entire expansion that was adding Japanese equipment.
No, that's going into the cash shop. Now, they don't specifically say that, so I'm not going to jot it down on our tally here, but
doesn't count.
Please look forward to it.
Yeah, you're probably right. The fact that somebody is asking for it, though,
means that our player base is some of the most retarded people on the planet.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
That question was for you, but this next one's for Juxta.
Do yourself a favor. Go find a dentist's office, right? And then just sit under the X-ray machine. Like, put your genitals under the X-ray machine for at least a good 5 to 10 minutes, because you should not be breeding.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 5 to 10 days.
I mean, that too, if you want to make extra sure.
I don't know if you'd have genitals after that.
All right, so this question for Juxta. I want simple lace-up boots, like the one from Edda's outfit, for men. Please, I'll do anything. Answer. I'll tell them about the boots.
Stop it. Stop it.
That's what a lot of the answers to these questions ended up being, was him just saying, I'll pass it along.
I'm not surprised.
I'll let him know.
I'm not surprised. I mean...
Yoshi's a pass the buck kind of guy.
I mean, like, honestly, though, like, we know the level of stupid that invades this
remember,
game.
I took the worst questions out. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there any questions about the male bunny suit outfit?
Not that I saw, no.
Worst Q&A ever.
This next one's actually, if I was still invested in the game, might excite me a little bit. But is it difficult to allow us to take our Chocobo companions into dungeons? They said now that we have squadrons, that isn't out of the possibility anymore.
Okay.
Something I would have thought would have been in from launch, but
stupid Chocobos.
Dude, like, I mean, okay, listen, 3 years too late, but whatever.
Fair. Let us have dark matters and dyes in our currency tab. There's a possibility we'll be adding more colors, so that's difficult. But maybe we can move dark matter. Wait, what? It's difficult because you're going to be adding more colors? Guild Wars has had, like, the color tab. Like, when you find a dye out in the wild, you add it to your color tab.
Right.
So don't act like this technology isn't out there.
But they want to pretend that there is at all any kind of market around dyes, which, I mean, there probably is. But, I mean, listen, the economy of this game is total garbage. I don't understand what they think that they're doing. Anytime they want to introduce something where they're afraid of how it's going to upset the economy, they just end up adding in a different currency for it. So Gil has effectively become fucking useless
after being marginally fucking useless before.
Right, exactly. And anything that you can buy with Gil is fucking useless. So it just makes it a really almost even antiquated part of this game. So you're right. I don't understand why they don't do, like, you know, a dye compendium or something. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you can spend Gil on glamour. And we all know that glamour is more important than
No,
the item level system.
hang on. You know what it is?
Oh, no.
It's
What?
because there are certain colors that are cash shop only.
Okay, but I think what this guy's talking about is like when you buy a die, if you can use it, like you'll have a use, right?
Right.
And it adds it to like a charge in the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a currency tab.
Like a currency tab.
Right.
You could still do that even with colors in the cash shop. But
Except once you use it once, now you can apply it to everything. So let's say
but it would have a charge on it. So when you use like your silver charge, like when you dye something silver, that now drops to 0.
Oh, okay.
So it still works.
Then that would make
like
sense.
it's a currency.
Yeah.
But
So like an elegant dye stone of metallic.
but they're gonna add more. So
Yeah.
But we can't. Yeah, they're gonna add more. So, what if they were to add like an array, but they limit the array of colors number to whatever they have right now? Then they can't ever add any more, like they did in PS2 Final Fantasy 11. They just can't do it. Okay.
I'll go with that. Will we ever see a 4th role other than DPS?
Fuck you. Stop asking this question. No. The answer is no. The answer is always going to be no.
The answer was, for the meantime, we'll be sticking to the current 3 roles.
Stop,
Yoshi,
Square
just say
Enix. Stop even putting out these vaguely worded answers that it's like, well, maybe. No. The game can't function. The game cannot fundamentally function with a 4th role that's put in there. It will break.
What?
It will break every single fight that has ever been programmed into this game. No.
What if it's
It'll
a
break the duty finder straight up.
what
Yes.
if it's a hybrid though?
No, stop
it'll
it.
Break.
No.
Okay, all right. Moving on to more pressing matters. I want a tackle box. I understand the demand. ...
I want to be able to teabag people more explicitly. Yoshi P, make it happen. Why was that not asked?
We'll add it to the cash shop.
That's probably where it'll go. Yeah.
All right, so I have a question. So
Yes.
you have your cash shop tally, but I want to know how many of these questions are inventory related.
Quite a bit. In fact, if you want to, mow through all the bullshit and just get down to the brass tacks, over at Gamer Escape, Fusion actually has an article up that kind of just narrows down all the important questions without doubling them up and stuff like that. Now, I say important with
Air quotes.
really hard air quotes.
Yeah.
But yes, the over there kind of sums them all up in nice dotted, bullet-pointed lines so you can get back to getting your tomes per minute.
There you go.
Yeah. This next question talks about how I want overmelds to be more risky. First of all, it's a harder aspect of the game, so that's a no-go. But Yoshi says, I know, right? The equipment also blew up when you failed melds in 1.0.
So then why'd you change it, dickweed?
I wouldn't mind if that came back. That'd be hilarious.
But if he's agreeing with them, like, does this asshole know that he makes this game?
Like, if you say, I know, right, that means that you could actually do that. Yoshi, you could make them more risky.
He's not answering the fucking question.
Well, to be fair, there wasn't a question there at all.
I mean, I guess, but...
Fair.
What the fuck is that shit? What is this?
God. Can you let us... Well, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Or Juxta, sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I want now, is just for Yoshi to add a way where you could just blow up 7 weeks of grinding Omega Savage and just blow up your weapon and get kicked from your raid group.
Imagine Nika shows up one day. So, guys, I'm going to need to roll on that sword again that I won last week because I blew it up trying to meld it. Your FC no longer exists.
They check you and you're using an item level 110 sword.
Ow.
It's just
because it was the last thing that you had, hoping no one would notice.
Can you let us store Mog Station items in the armoire? We can't add a huge amount to the armoire at once, so it's still waiting in line. We'd like you to use the new Glamour Wardrobe and the Chocobo Saddlebag. Also, don't forget to have open space on your retainers. Now, this is what confuses me. They've added, if you remember over time in some of the old patches, we'd always have a little section of the patch notes where they would tell you what is now able to be stored in the armoire.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right.
that means that they have a guy whose job it is specifically at some point to be like, all right, here's a list of all the new stuff we would like you to add. And apparently that is such a difficult thing to do that it's actually in line on a task sheet somewhere instead of just being part of, okay, now that this item is made, let's make sure it gets added to the armoire list. Like how fucked up must their process be that is like its own separate tiny little thing somewhere? Not tiny. It's apparently not even tiny.
Well, because there's probably one guy who takes care of the armoire. And then when they give him something new to add to the armoire, he like freaks the fuck out. And he like starts banging his head on his desk and going, ah! And they just really can't give him the task anymore because they don't want to hear the screaming.
That means that Square Enix has employed someone less competent than Skuro. Because this would be Skuro work for us.
Yeah.
And when we give work to Skuro, he may take a while to get it done sometimes, but he's like, yeah, all right, I got it. And he doesn't complain about it.
If Skuro started trying to add items to the armor, then we'd like end up with like just, I don't know, like plants or dogs in the armor, and it's like heads popping out of like the thing, and it'd be awful.
The armoire person is a diversity hire. They needed at least one person who had qualified for a disability.
Aww.
And he's the guy who shows up every day with peanut butter smeared all over the keyboard and a kickboxing helmet. So
that answers that.
You gotta go easy on that guy.
All right, here's the big question.
I like glamours.
Here's the big question everyone's been wanting to hear.
I like glamours.
Anything you can tell us about Eureka?
Glamour.
He says, people will have misunderstandings if we only reveal a portion of the info. So please wait a little longer.
Hang on. My question is to the dumb idiot that asked the question. They have put off answering this on the last 2 live letters. What made you think that on a Q&A on New Year's Eve that you were going to crack the code of Eureka? He's going to spill all the beans about Eureka. What are you, fucking stupid?
You know that answer was about us. That answer was about us. If we reveal any details, there may be misunderstandings. If we mention there's going to be fates, people are going to freak out because it's not just, look, you guys don't understand the system, okay? So we can't just mention that it's like Deep Dungeon because there's more stuff. We don't want people to misconstrue what we're saying.
It's Deep Dungeon. That's all it is. My prediction is that it's just going to be a mashup of the two events because one was satisfying, the other was not, and so they're going to try to keep what worked from one aspect and what worked from another aspect, and they're going to come and find that they've developed a system that satisfies no one.
But because here's the problem. I don't think that Square Enix's their brain trust works in quite the same way. So somehow we're going to get a system that takes what sucked from both of them, incorporated into one.
That's far more likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also want to know if we can change the color of our eyes via colored contacts. They said it might be about time to allow players to do that. As if there was a time prior that you guys shouldn't have been able to do that.
No, I'm sorry that, just the idea of someone switching the color of their irises makes me entirely uncomfortable, and it makes my sexual drive disappear. So no, we will not be adding it to the game.
But everyone wants to have 2 different colored eyes like Yuna.
I know, I understand. Okay. I know, I get it.
Before you force beginners...
You changed your eye color by using a Fantasia.
Before you force beginners to leave the beginners chat when they meet the requirements, I want you to show a warning message so they understand. Roger that.
What?
Really?
I told you there were some stupid questions on here. What part of you're not in the beginners chat do you no longer understand?
I mean, why would you still want to be in the beginner's chat?
Because they need their hand held forever. That's what this is. Hand-holdy shit. They met a friend in the beginner's chat, and they like helping people out.
You know that there's an entire internet to be able to connect with people, right?
Yeah, the internet's scary.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy isn't scary because I never lose and I get everything I want.
Because I complain about it.
Oh my God, it's so fucking true. It's so true. And Final Fantasy 14 is sort of one of those unique ones where if you do complain enough, it's like they'll acquiesce eventually.
Yeah. Again, guys, I want you to remember, and as you're listening to the show, the overall theme of these questions. And remember, they were filtered. Is there going to be another deep dungeon? Apparently, we are still developing the next deep dungeon.
Because it's called Eureka.
I don't know. Maybe we'll still get a deep dungeon.
It's called Eureka, man.
It's called High Tower next time. We can't call it Deep Dungeon.
Someone also asks about allowing squadrons members to have jobs instead of just classes. They said they might come up with some sort of setting for that. Cool.
I mean, I guess.
That doesn't make any sense. I am the world's only Dragoon and only White Mage, so if someone else is a Dragoon and White Mage, it breaks my immersion.
We know that Square Enix is putting a lot of stock into their upcoming esport, The Feast.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We don't have much we can buy with wolf marks. Any plans on adding something? He said, please wait a little bit longer. And there's also lots of
Is it going to be a new set of armor? Is it going to be maybe the gayest looking armor in the entire game?
Probably.
Okay.
They also plan on adding new maps for Rival Wings and completely redoing Rival Wings in some way, because apparently the way that the map is set up, it makes it really unfair for the blue team.
Can they just stop with this competitive PvP nonsense? They put so much goddamn development into competitive PvP and ranked PvP in this game. Dude, who does it?
Can you even chat in the Feast again yet, or is that still turned off?
No. That's still turned off.
Great, great.
Why would you need to chat?
Okay.
Yeah, why would you ever need to?
You don't have time to type out stuff when you're fighting someone.
I want you guys to strap in for this next one, okay? Any plans on having accessories that are just for glamour outside of seasonal items? No. We are using most of that cost on seasonal items. Has it not been one of our critiques of Square Enix that when it comes to seasonal events, they don't add new items? They just put the old ones into the cash shop, and if you've already done these quests last year, you don't get to do them again. So what cost exactly is being used on seasonal items? Did that Christmas bear take up an entire allocation for accessory glamours? I was like,
2 months development
for
Christmas
a bear? For a Christmas bear?
I mean, it does seem fucking ridiculous, right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that should not be a question that really stood out to me. But when I read that, and I'm like, really, most of your cost goes to the seasonal items that you don't even make anymore?
I mean, they do put in new seasonal items every time. 3
items per new event.
Sometimes.
And they move the old ones into the cash shop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the event is the exact same.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. It was for Halloween. I think Christmas just had another series of events.
Well, yeah. See, last year, the Halloween event was new. But then this year, same exact thing.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, where is that money being allocated to? If it's the items, I don't think I believe that.
There must be either A, very expensive items to development, or B, that is not a big budget to begin with.
I don't know. I think asking to glamour fucking rings and earrings, and that's stupid anyway.
Just like every question that's been asked?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just like every fucking question on here so far.
Well.
Oh, boy.
Blow kiss emote where hearts actually fly. Hurry, hurry. What? Seasonal emotes and items from the past. They want it to where when you blow the kiss emote, hearts fly out of your hand.
No. Stop it.
They already have that. They have /dote.
Right, and it's coming to the MOG station after a year or so.
Okay.
Oh, so in February, it's this person was complaining that it's not in the cash shop yet because it's not February.
Yeah.
This is something they fucking asked?
Yeah. And he responded to it. He
responded to
it. Yeah, Yoshi P thought that was a question that was worth responding to.
Needed to let him know. Yeah, it's coming to the cash shop. Don't worry.
Yep.
Will you add the Ultimate Series to the Raid Finder in the future?
No.
Nope. They also want us to know that they are already developing the next Ultimate content, and we're just talking about what the boss for the Ultimate difficulty after that would end up being.
So the 45 people who give a shit. will continue to give a shit.
Yeah, probably.
Yay. But will they?
No. It'll dwindle to 35 and then to none.
Yeah. All right. So we're almost.
So people like the people who didn't do the ultimate content, like we're ignoring them for now. For the people who did do it, did they like it? Did you guys, ultimate content doers, did you enjoy that fight?
It's a good question.
That's my question I posed to them.
It's a good question.
I feel like what I've heard, I think I've seen like one or two talking about it, that it kind of falls into the vein of like, yeah, it was nice, but it's the only thing and that's it. So no, overall it wasn't satisfying.
I mean, it's basically how can we make one fight as annoying as possible to keep people spinning their wheels?
How can we make
why is that fun?
Why is wheel spinning fun?
Yeah,
for
why
people?
is that fun? How is that fun for people? How is that how as a game developer do you think that that's designed to be fun?
Yeah.
Oh, cuz progression.
Let's progress.
Stop
to
it.
nowhere.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on your fucking hamster wheel. And then eventually, when you have gone, you've made the hamster wheel go around as many times as you can.
Oh my gosh! No, even better.
It's going to stick out a little piece of corn kernel that you're going to be able to take and nibble.
Nope, it's more like this, right? They're on the hamster wheel, running. Someone's running next to them. The person next to them gets off their hamster wheel because they're tired and sits down. And then when the person running finally gets what they want, the other person walks up and also gets it. That's what this game is.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah.
Or the hamster wheel person gets the thing and then turns like it's like they get a marginally larger piece of corn kernel and then they turn around and there's one that's just only slightly smaller that was given to the motherfucker that did nothing.
Who can take more than one if they want.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, here's the other big one that received a lot of talk within the community. I'd like you to revise how raid gear is only the strongest gear for each season or patch cycle, and how it's useless after the next. For example, add special effects or buffs to it so you can use it after the season is over. Now, usually when Square Enix gets a question, they like to end it in kind of answering kind of an open-ended way. Right?
We'll see.
Adding special effects and buffs will affect the game balance as a whole.
Bullshit.
So we have a policy where unless those effects are limited to a certain area, note, hints to Eureka, we will not have them in the game.
Horseshit.
Ever.
Horseshit.
Period.
I mean, the first line he said, special effects and buffs will affect the game balance as a whole. That's true. It will affect the game balance.
Yes, it will. But listen, it's
not necessarily a bad thing.
Yes, exactly. It is your job to balance that. What he's saying here, what this answer says is I don't want to have to do my job, and I don't want to have to make the other people underneath me do their jobs as well. That's what this says.
Yep.
Because we've already given you too much stuff in 3.0, 4.0, so we're going to reduce it.
What's unique about online games, and not even just MMO, just any game with an online component, right? That is a continuous game. Balance and the way that a game evolves is part of just how the games work, right? The idea that people think that a game needs to ascend to a point of perfect balance is absolutely fucking insane. Like the amount of times I see people cry about imbalance in Overwatch, yes, because that thrives on imbalance. If something is overpowered, that is one thing, but there should always be imbalance in a game, and it's something that developers should always be addressing. There is no perfect equilibrium across the board that you can attain.
They need to encourage it in some way. Like, listen, you can't be the arbiter of all fucking fairness. Sorry, you got to go, hey, that's just the way that it is. And, like, that's not to say don't develop, but, like, this is getting fucking asinine. Because, we don't want to do that because, I mean, like, okay, you went and you changed the labels to all of your different fucking stats. You know what I mean? And we can do that. But like a special effect on the gear? Nah. An additional reason beyond what we have diagnosed as the only reason to get gear? Nah. That's too much work. That's too much
problem that we have to address.
Right. And that's the thing that Square Enix is tiptoeing around so much that I think is such bullshit. Because it's been a staple of every other MMO prior till now. And this is just such a boring way to deliver gear. And all of these answers that Square Enix has given have been unacceptable answers. I don't understand why anyone continues to pay a sub on this game anymore. And at this point, man, like they are actively saying fuck you to the people who have been paying their bills the longest. Square Enix actively does not like their veteran player base, and so they want to do anything that they can to make that playing field seem fair, to make that playing field feel fair. And guess what? It means that at the end of the day, if you've been playing this game for a really long time, the longer you play, the less fun you're going to have. The shorter amount of time you've been playing, the more that you need to catch up, the more that this game is going to feel rewarding to you. And that's the fucked up way to do it. That's a very fucked up way to do it.
Yep, we have one more question from the Mods Immune server, and I just put this one in because it tickles me a little bit. You said it's okay to perform FF14 music, but is it okay to perform the Fate music from FF11 and Dragon Quest crossover event? Please avoid that if possible.
Fuck you, Square Enix. Fuck you. Fuck you, Square Enix. Fuck you, Square Enix.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. So, can you even make your own songs?
No, please avoid that if possible.
What the fuck?
Please
avoid using our features, okay? Just it's safest for everyone if you just don't use our features.
This is fucking insane. And the fact that Square Enix does go out of their way to take them off of YouTube and Facebook and all of that shit, like, if you thought that that was just a funny little thing, no. If you actually take the time and you actually do, Darude's Sandstorm, they will take it down and they will make sure that it does not get out
the light
there.
of day. Yeah.
What fucking assholes?
Polyhedral dice. Don't play Mary Had a Little Lamb either. All right, so we now
Square Enix. I swear to God, you're just assholes at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why do we do a show about a company full of assholes?
Because of the people watching us, because of our assholes. That's why.
I honestly don't get it. Because, they're talking one-on-one directly with their fan base and with their fans. They fucking hate their fans. Like, just the most basic read of any of this Q&A, either Yoshi P can't be bothered to actually answer the question, or they're answered with nothing but contempt.
And these people are just too stupid to realize it.
I honestly am now having problems justifying to myself the continued involvement with this game, the continuing to pay for a sub for this game. This is
flashbacks to Final Fantasy 11.
This is out and out contempt for your own fan base.
Felichu, that moment when SE out assholes LBR.
Honestly, someone who listens to our show, I would never treat them like this. Unless they called up and said something dickish. But instead, and then is anyone saying anything dickish? No, they're making really good points. Please add some special buffs to our gear. No, fuck you. That's not the way that this game works. Fuck you.
Ouch.
We're just asking for a more reason to play your game. We're asking for more of a reason to want to care about your game.
Can we say different reasons? Because you asked for more of a reason, there's just going to be more emotes to buy.
Please give the show a call. Try to convince me that Yoshi P doesn't hate you. Try to convince me that Yoshi P doesn't openly hate you as an FF14 player.
I'm actually curious to know if we have any listeners who have been playing since either 1.0 or 2.0 that still have the same love for this game and dedication to this game that they did.
I think even the biggest weeb who bought Stormblood when it came out with a gigantic boner for Samurai would read this Q&A and go, yeah, this guy doesn't give a shit. This guy doesn't care. This guy doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about the money that I've invested in this game or in this company. He doesn't care about my desire to want to see the product to succeed, and he doesn't value my input. Why? So then why am I wasting my time trying to give you feedback? Why am I wasting my time trying to type out all of the things that I think? Why don't I just take all of that time and effort and go to, I don't know, Bethesda and talk to them about Elder Scrolls Online?
Did you hear that the ESO devs bought Nika's ESO fangirl friend a freaking computer?
I did.
Because she tweeted out how her computer died and she was so devastated.
Yep.
So at MagFest, they gave her a fucking computer with a bow on it.
Yep.
Holy
With
shit.
a bow on it.
Yep.
Not just a computer. A bow.
Just consider
It's a nice touch.
Just consider that Bethesda found out about someone who was going through a tough period. They spent money to get her back into the game. Whereas Square Enix spent the holiday period swatting down theories and fans,
trying to make their game better.
disappointing their long-term veterans, and not, by the way, adding an iota of content. Oh, I'm sorry, Christmas Bear. Excuse me.
And Year of the Doge. Year of the Doge. All right, we're on to Ramuh, which again, these are just answers, so we're just going to kind of like rattle off a bunch of these.